What up, everybody? I am not tired. I am tired. I don't want to go to bed yet. I look like a fucking mess. But I am having so much fun because I am looking at something called Scientology, an in-depth profile of a new force in Clearwater. This was a series of articles from the St. Petersburg Times, and I'm using it to get various information on maybe it was like the raid on Snow White or the raid from Snow White or Operation Bulldozer Leak or Operation Bunny Bust or any of those Guardian's Office operations. So I've got some sources for Bulldozer Leak, Bunny Bust, Operation Cat, and Operation Snow White. But yeah, I am very tired, but I want to stay up at least for a little bit longer. Oh my god. Fuck it. Let's have some fun. Where was I? Sorrell Allen, the quote, director of membership and public affairs for the United Churches of Florida. He said the buildings would be leased to United Churches. This was the Fort Harrison building and the old Clearwater Bank of Clearwater building. Um, But Kenneth Seidenberg, an attorney for Jack Tar Hotels, told the St. Petersburg Times on December 5th that the sale of the Fort Harrison was one of the strangest transactions we've ever dealt in. Southern Land Sales wouldn't even give Jack Tar its telephone number, he said. We have never been involved in this cloak and dagger kind of deal. They've been so secretive that it's been driving us crazy as to who they are and what they are. Okay, so now let's look at okay, so this is a document reveal from Snow White. So we got 11/26, 1975. 11/26, 1975. Wizard Owl, I don't know if you're still here. I assume you are. And because I assume that you are, I am looking at Guardian's Office operations, including Operation Cat, Operation Bulldozer Leak, Operation Bunny Bust, Operation Snow White. I was looking at Operation Big Mouth, but I finished looking at that for a bit because I started looking into more information about Bulldozer Leak, and now I'm just in a rabbit hole. I am looking at a specific article or series of articles from the St. Petersburg Times called Scientology, an in-depth profile of a new force in Clearwater, which has stuff about various Guardians Office operations, including some of the information leaked from the documents, not leaked, made public from the documents retrieved from the FBI from Operation Snow White. On November 26th, 1975, 9 days before Kenneth Seidenberg talked to the St. Petersburg Times regarding the Fort Harrison purchase deal, LRH had issued a Guardian's Office order headed Program LRH Security, codename Power. Okay, I know what flag is. Yeah. So is this the thing? This is Program LRH Security. Are we still talking about Program LRH Security, or are we talking about something else now? I'm assuming we're talking about this. That's not what I wanted. Stated goal. Really attain PROAC, which is Public Relations Office and Area Control in the CW, Clearwater, operating area for the organizations operating there. Sort out any weak spots or potential threats, internal or external, and handle dynamite spots should be predicted far. What is a dynamite spot? Percussion. So I'm assuming it means potential trouble spots, and they need to be handled before they blow up in their face. Got it. Okay, so now we need to look at Henning Helt, who is Scientology's deputy guardian for the U.S. There's a lot of quotes. Could drink some coffee. No. No. Just getting fucking dead tired, and I need to go to bed. I need to go lay down and go to bed. No, you know what? I'm gonna finish this. Henning Helt received a letter from someone named Ron. I wonder who the fuck that was. We have found a whole part of a condominium to rent. It is 5.3 miles from the FH. We have been negotiating on it as a simple rental, it will be UC, that's United Churches, or SLD, Southern Land Development. I don't know what name the mission is using for the negotiation. Okay, what else? As the office of LRH will be there, the bus and phone lines will have to be there. I should rename this. Edit video, we'll call it stream. We'll call it Guardian's Office Research Stream. Okay, playlist. Miscellaneous. Not for kids. No AI. Tags. Changes. See if that gets me some algorithm usage. Okay. Fix that. Whoever is here, hello, feel free to drop something in the chat. Whoever's here, feel free to put something in the chat. I'd love to see who's watching. Just a random quote for anyone who's listening from a Guardian's office order. There's a directive on something called Project Power from. This was written December 5th, 1975. One of the goals, was to establish the indispensability of united churches in the community. And in parentheses, in quotes, the overall plan is to locate opinion leaders, then their enemies, the dirt, scandal, vested interest, crime of the enemies with overt data as much as possible, then turn this over to UC, United Churches, who will approach the opinion leader and get his agreement to look into a specific subject, which will lead to the enemy's crimes. UC then discovers the scandal, etc., and turns it over to the opinion leader for his use. Ops can be done as a follow-up if needed to remove or restrain the enemy. Maybe standing will help. We've got a nice new rental car, though, from the accident. It's completely at fault. But got a nice little Nissan. It's got all the basic like functionalities of a modern day car, like Bluetooth capabilities, hands-free answering phones, hands-free phone usage, and little indicators on the sides to let me know when something is too close to the side of my car. And to me, because my newest car was a 2014 that didn't have any Bluetooth capabilities and didn't have any of the fancy sensors in it, my mind was just like blown because I'm just not used to those functionalities in a vehicle. I'm like, why is it beeping? And she's like, it's telling you have someone close to you on the right. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. But no, it's a nice car. I only have it for a bit, but we'll see what happens with the insurance company. But the whole point of this stream is actually to work on something I call my people and events document. This is a cherry tree note document. If you're not familiar with cherry tree, it is a hierarchical note-taking system. So you can put in a note, and you can put in a sub-note inside that, and you can do sub-notes inside that, and you can just go deeper and deeper into each sub-layer as much as you want. So it helps to categorize things. Like I have a category specifically for events. I have a category specifically for people. There's a lot of people. Terminology, documents, doctrine, which includes management right now, auditing tech, books and courses. And I've got organizations and places. So we've got the Melrose, we've got Greenfield School, Delphi, the Whole, the founding church in DC on 19th and R Street, OSA, the Guardian's office, St. Hill, AOLA, Pack Base, Gold Base, Hollywood Inn, Hollywood Guarantee Building, Hubbard Dianetics Foundation. Yeah, Hubbard Dianetics Foundation. Why is that not Research Foundation? Flagland Base, ASI, Celebrity Center and Celebrity Center Portland, the different ships in the Sea Organization, or the Sea Project, and the Hubbard Dianetics Research Foundation. I've got interesting summaries, which is where I was talking about all the affair shit that was going on between, like, Sarah, Miles, Hubbard, Jack, just everybody, Barbara Clouden, unknown sources. So I've just got some websites up there that I can categorize later. And we got uncategorized notes, which include things from August 16th, 1979. Some basic e-meter information and general info about the church. If you want to know about documents that I have, I've got one from J. Edgar Hoover to Brigadier. Let me just read this for a second. September 21st, 1956. Brigadier C.C.F. Spry, DSO. Director General of Security, Attorney General's Department D Branch, Box 5105 BB GPO from Melbourne in Victoria, Australia. My dear Brigadier Spry. So this is from J. Edgar Hoover to Brigadier CCF Spry. Reference is made to your letter dated August 27th, 1956, bearing your stamp number 7580, wherein you requested that you be furnished information available in the files of this Bureau regarding the Hubbard Dianetic Research Foundation and the American citizens connected with the organization. According to the records of this Bureau, the Hubbard Dianetic Research Foundation was incorporated on June 1st, 1950 in the state of New Jersey for the alleged purpose of furthering the work of Lafayette Ron Hubbard, an author of whose book, Dianetics, has been published in 1948. So I think he's talking about Dianetics, the original thesis. In 1951, the organization moved to Wichita, Kansas, later to Phoenix, Arizona, and within the recent past to Silver Spring, Maryland. Okay, so let me put this in. Founded June 1st, 1950. Started in where? In New Jersey. What did they move around to? 1951. Moved to Wichita. Later moved to Phoenix, Silver Spring, Maryland. Phoenix, Silver Spring, Maryland. Okay. If there's anyone still watching, please comment something. I'd love to know who's here. I hope I'm not the only one, because I'm watching in a separate window. Okay, so we got a little more information on the HDRF. The foundation had reportedly encountered difficulty with the police authorities in New Jersey, Detroit, Michigan, and Washington, D.C. for allegedly conducting a school in those areas in which a branch of medicine and surgery was taught without a license. In regard to Hubbard himself, an inquiry was initiated by this Bureau on February 26, 1951, after information was received that he had been taken into custody in Chicago, Illinois, for kidnapping his wife and daughter and taking them out of the state of California. No investigation of this alleged violation was conducted, however, since the U.S. Attorney at Los Angeles, California, stated that this was a family matter and did not warrant an investigation. The Los Angeles, California Times-Herald, in its issue of April 24, 1951, related that Hubbard's wife accused him of subjecting her to scientific torture experiments. The news story reported that Mrs. Hubbard, in a divorce suit, claimed that he was hopelessly insane. Her complaint stated in part that the Hubbard Dianetic Research Foundation did more than $1 million worth of business in 1950. No information is available in the records of this Bureau to indicate that the booklet entitled Brainwashing, if any of you know what that is, it is a booklet that was made to appear to have been written by the Russians during the Soviet Union and during communism, and basically made to explain supposedly how they can do better at brainwashing the public. No information is available in the records of this Bureau to indicate that the booklet entitled Brainwashing has at any time been banned or restricted in the U.S. Actually, the authenticity of the booklet appears to be of a doubtful nature, since it lacks documentation of source material and contains no quotations from well-known communist works, which would normally be used in a synthesis of communist writings. In addition, the alleged author of the publication admits he cannot vouch for the authenticity of the booklet. No data identifiable with redacted or Mary Sue Hubbard, née Whip, was located in the files of this Bureau. Sincerely yours, J. Edgar Hoover, Director. I've got that. I've got a link to something called the Ziegel, I think it's Zegel, Ziegel tapes, which I have no idea about. I don't know what the Ziegel tapes are, but I'm going to find out at some point. Because this document itself, this whole people and events document, which includes more than people and events, is just a mega collab, a mega source of notes on various things. I'm not necessarily planning to make videos of any of these, but if I gather enough information, maybe I can use that information that I gathered from various sources and use that to make a video on the subject. I'm not in a rush to make any of these because there is a lot of shit that I gotta look at. I will say the Hollywood Inn is a very interesting place. There's a man named Aaron Poulin who was married to a woman named Marie Billheimer. There was Aaron deleted himself from the simulation of life. And Marie ended up walking right past him. He ended it in a section of construction at the Hollywood Inn that was undergoing renovation. She passed right by that area, didn't even know he was in there, only to find out later from Kristen Catano at 10 a.m. on Thursday, November 18th, 2004, that she let Marie know that there were ambulances at the Hollywood Inn, and she walked past Aaron's body. Told Marie that the note said, "Tell my wife I'm sorry. I love her, and I meant what I said last night." If you want last night, context, November 17th, 2004, Aaron came home briefly. He was in the Sea Org. He and Marie were both in the Sea Org, so when I say home, I mean Sea Org birthing. Aaron came home briefly to change his clothes, said he was going to his post at CC for an all-hands thing. Walked out, and this is what he said to her. This was the last thing he said to Marie. "Today, I realized that I do love you, and it was just my out ethics." That's when he was found the next day. So, pretty fucking brutal case. I also learned about the pregnant woman, La Migra, she, her pronouns. If you're asking about me, I assume. Yeah, trans, a little confusing. She, her. Thank you for asking. So we got a CCN around 1991. It's just called Pregnant Woman Life Ending. Self-life ending. And in CC Portland, we have the use of firearms to do violence. In October 2009, a man named Godeka, his name was Jairus Chiguero Godeka. Well, thank you for that, La Migra. I don't know what migra means. I should probably look that up in case that's something racist. What does that mean? An informal Mexican and American Spanish language term for U.S. immigration and customs enforcement and related institutions. Okay. Anyway, yes, hashtag end Scientology. But so let me tell you about CC Portland. Jairus Chiguero Godeka, Helen Burke, she was the receptionist. Stephen Roy Crandall, he was the ED. Carlos Colon was an SO member there. Jim M. Stone was the deputy ED, and his wife Jacqueline was the treasury secretary. We also had Sonny Jensen and Sonny Pereira. This was Sonny Pereira was mainly sent there to help deal with the aftermath. She was not involved in the actual incident. So, at CCN, Christoph Pereira came into Sonny's office, told her that Portland CC had been attacked. There were reports of shots fired and an actual fire. 4 of them were shot, 1 critically wounded. The entire executive structure of CC in Sonny's office soon after. The entire executive structure of CC was in Sonny's office soon after. Dave Pettit said that Sonny was going to Portland immediately. She'd be gone for 3 months. Went to HGB on Hollywood and Ivar and rushed upstairs. Sonny Jensen was the administrative arm of the medical and auditing team. and they missed a flight to Portland due to a security delay. And he was an inside joke, and people give me Danny a hard time. Gotcha. So yeah, there was smoke, and the front desk area was black from fire and smoke. Casualties: the ED was shot in the chest. The SO member Carlos was shot in the chest. Public officer Helen Healy was shot in the shoulder. She was pregnant and in a very critical condition. The deputy ED was shot in the ass, but didn't know it for several hours, probably due to the shock of the situation. And the Treasury Secretary Jackie had been taken hostage. Let me see what else we got here. That's Godeka's prison stuff. Basically, the whole point of the dude's shooting was he thinks that the church kept him from bringing his sister there from Kenya to study courses. And in February of 1996, Godeka called Portland offices demanding money for the ruin of a San Francisco company that sold lighting equipment. I have that Jim was shot in the hip, but didn't realize until he pulled out his wallet and saw a bullet hole in it. And he smiled and waved as he was wheeled to an ambulance. So yeah, here's the backstory. Jairus Shigeru Godeka was from Kenya. Bought a Dianetics book from the public officer Helen a few years prior. He was under the impression that this would help to improve his life and would result in him being able to get $50,000 for his business. He blamed Scientology for not being able to do that and not helping him. In the 2 years leading up to the incident, Helen Healy was in touch with Godeka regularly and tried to help. He became agitated and made threats to CC Portland and the San Francisco org to end employees. He put a fake explosive device on an RC truck and sent it into the San Francisco org, and was once detained after weapons were located in his Portland apartment. The night before the incident, the Portland CC Director of Special Affairs, who's the local OSA rep, sent a telex to OSA West US asking to find if Godeka was in Portland. OSA assured the DSA that Godeka was not in Portland and there was no need to be concerned, despite the fact that he was absolutely in Portland. And this was the day before the shooting. So the day of the shooting, September 26th, 1996. The whole incident lasted about 10 minutes. The lower floor was empty, except for Helen Healy as the receptionist, and the steward member, Carlos, was shot. Right here, in the chest. So Godeka walked in, shot the receptionist in the shoulder. She laid under the desk. He poured gasoline around the desk and lit it. I'm gonna be honest. How Helen survived is a fucking miracle to me. She was shot in the shoulder, was laying on the ground, was pregnant at the time, which this event will actually play into that at a later point. So Carlos came running up the stairs, got shot, and then fell back down. Godeka went up the stairs to the right. Steve, the ED, I think it was the ED. Yes, Stephen was the ED, Stephen Roy Crandall, or Crandell. So Steve ran down the hall and down the stairs at Godeka, where he was shot. Godeka went upstairs and then shot Jim, who was going down a hall towards another exit. Jackie came out of her office right in front of Godeka, and he said that she'd be his hostage. All staff had cleared out by this time, out of the back stairwell with police outside. So Jackie showed Godeka a front fire stairwell that was closed off. Police negotiators met them at the front of the building. Godeka said, "All I want is a court case." Cops talked him into surrendering his gun and coming out. During this time, Helen dragged herself through the fire and got to a door behind her desk and closed the fire door. She yelled until she saw a fireman, and then when he came to help, she passed out. Carlos walked out of the front door and sat down, but had to get further away. The bullet had missed his heart by millimeters. So had it moved just a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, he would have been dead. I know. This would be a very interesting movie. And trust me, I've tried to get in touch with Helen Healy. I think she's now known as Helen Burke. But I tried to get in touch with her to ask her about the incident. I can understand completely if that's something that she doesn't want to talk about. I'm not gonna force that issue. So, at the hospital, Helen's husband and his brother were in the waiting room. The brother, by the way, was an OT8 who hurt his back and couldn't move. So much for your OT abilities. The main priorities for the medical team were Carlos and Helen. They weren't really qualified to work on Steve. Wait, why does that say not qualified to work on Steve? Because he was an OT. Did they tell the doctors that they weren't qualified to work on Steve? I'm confused. I'll have to relook at that. Jin didn't need immediate care. Helen received unconscious person assists every hour all night. It took between 24 to 36 hours for her to come to. So much for the assist. There was a room for the family and Sonny. I'm assuming Sonny Pereira. But Helen's husband felt compelled to go out and sell Dianetics copies. Sonny Jensen and Sonny Pereira worked out the day's plan. When Helen woke up, they had to tell her she was paralyzed, and upon being told she would be, she said, "Where are they going to put my desk?" Carlos had come from Flag, and case supervisors needed his files. The woman on the phone said to call back in 2 weeks. Sonny J then called Jenny DeVacht. So that's just random little notes I have. I'm not finished recounting the whole event. I don't have all of the details to be able to put in a completely orderly fashion. I'm still trying to work on that. But from what I have for the aftermath section, Godeka's bullets turned out to be hollow. He did shoot Helen in the shoulder, but it lodged into her spine after it bounced around inside, which fucking horrible. After the incident, the child she was carrying, his brain stopped, their brain stopped developing, and the child lived for 2 years before finally passing away, which I'm so sorry that she had to deal with that. That's I wouldn't wish that on anybody, even a Scientologist or a serial member. Nobody deserves to die. In an interview with police, Godeka said he had been staying in a cheap downtown hotel since coming back to Portland from San Francisco on a Greyhound bus to, quote-unquote, fight these people. He used an episode of Star Trek as an analogy. He said the episodes where the Klingons take a person's mind away, and he related the Klingons to the church. He told the detective, "I didn't want to shoot that woman." He claimed he wanted to get publicity out about the church, and he brought up a 1980s lawsuit with Julie Christopherson Tichborne. He was advised that Julie had failed in getting her message. No, he advised that Julie had failed in getting her message out to the general public, and the detective stated that Godeka seemed surprised that no one died. These are completely, obviously, just not quite cohesive. Like I said, these are all bullet points. He didn't originally plan to shoot Helen, but wanted to take her as a hostage. He'd begun Scientology in Portland years prior, but dropped out because his mind said something was wrong, which I'm glad that happened, but I'm not glad the result of it. And in February 1996, which was before the incident, because the incident was in September, so this was 7 months prior, he had called Helen after drinking and demanded that Scientology pay him $50,000 for what it put him through. He threatened to come over and end her if the church didn't pay. She stayed on the phone long enough for the police to find and arrest him. Wait, did this incident happen in 95 or 96? Yeah, I got 96. He had a Ruger 45 semi-automatic, and he served 30 days. So this was the incident before the shooting. After being arrested, he wanted $3 million. He didn't tell the org. He didn't tell the org that he wanted $3 million, but he just assumed that they knew. Fucking somehow. So he's in San Francisco. purchased this 45 semi-automatic before coming to Portland. He lost his nerve for several days trying to go through the plan. He got on a bus with a gun, gas can, 2 pairs of pants, a book, and pills. Went out to an ATM and took out $40 and was pissed that the church hadn't paid him the $3 million. He wanted to only shoot the men and use the women as hostages. After shooting Helen, though, he said someone in Scientology controlled his actions. And when he moved down the stairway after shooting the others, he realized he'd failed. He felt sorry for shooting Helen and not the men, and wished that one of the men would pass away. He wanted them dead, but wanted a trial to get his message about Scientology out. So in March 1998, we get to the ruling. He was found guilty, except for insanity. He was sentenced for up to 120 years. 4 counts of attempted aggravated murder, arson, 1 count of kidnapping, 3 counts of first-degree assault, 1 count of second-degree assault, and 1 count of burglary. He got out less than 20 years later and was released from a state hospital in 2005 and moved to a group home. He completed a bachelor's degree at the University of Oregon. In 2015, he applied for more leniency and offered to go back to Kenya and not come back to the U.S. And the Oregon Psychiatric Security Review Board took 15 minutes to reject his leniency request. So that's just some info about CC Portland. So I've explained Aaron Poulin and Jairus Shigeru Godeka. So those are just a couple of the incidents inside of this document. I should really put these in the event category. Cannot get the theme for the Great North show out of my head right now, but it's such a good show. He was Kenyan, I believe. Let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure he was Kenyan. Yeah, Kenya. He even asked to be placed on the no-fly list. He promised to find a reputable psychiatrist in his home country to continue with treatment. He was 57 as of this article, which was October 1st, 2015. Do I have this article in these sources? Yes, I do. Okay. The main information came from Tony Ortega's blog, by the way. Just for giving credit where credit is due. Like I said, that was me just trying to put it into some bullet points and stuff like that. I'm later going to try to organize it into a better script once I get as much information as I can, but I need to focus on one incident at a time and fucking stick with it because I cannot do that. I keep bouncing around from part to part in the document with all the random information I find. So let me get back to the Guardian's office. When you asked the question, Gnome Sane, I thought the same thing. That was the first thing that came to my head, was that sort of category of scammer. But yeah, no, he was Kenyan, so. Alright, back to Operation Snow White documents. Okay. Okay, this is a random thing I'm reading from the December 5th Guardian Office order on Project Power. Example, B1, which is Scientology Information Office. B1 finds the Clearwater mayor as an opinion leader and Mr. Schultz as his enemy. Overt and suitable guy's investigation of Schultz shows him to like little girls and that he walks in the park every Sunday when he attempts to drag little girls into the bushes. B1 turns this data over to UC, United Churches. UC goes to the mayor and gets his okay to look into what can be done to beautify Clearwater City Park. Shortly after the mayor gives his okay to look into the park, UC discovers that there are undesirables in the park and turns the data over to the mayor. Several days later, UC discovers that Mr. Schultz attacks little girls in the park and turns that over to the mayor, managing to get press on the whole park campaign and to make a friend out of the mayor. Now, if Schultz is also a potential enemy of ours, which he might be after the above is done, and the mayor or newspaper hasn't removed him from a position of power, then operations does. Church functionaries were directed, quote, to fully investigate the Clearwater City and county area so we can distinguish our friends from our enemies and handle as needed. Dossiers were to be compiled on medical societies, clinics, hospitals, police departments and agencies, public relations firms, drug firms, federal, state, and local government agencies, city council, banks, investment houses, local representatives in Congress, and Florida's 2 United States senators. By the way, random shit. These are also some of the events that I have inside of the categories on my document. I have the Southampton to Las Palmas voyage on the... Which ship was this? Is this the Royal Scotsman? The Apollo? I think it was the Apollo. We've got the IRS fight from 1977 and 1993. Getting to shore in Florida in the 70s. LRH's motorcycle accident in Las Palmas. The Miss Bloody Butt incident. The U.S. Marshals raiding on behalf of the FDA in 1963. The creation of the Inspector General cramming officer position. The FBI raid of 77. The Mission Impossible 3 premiere prank, which is something very interesting that I'm going to explain in a minute. Mission corporate category sort out. There's a lot in this. The AO Anzo murder. So that's the Advanced Organization of Australia and New Zealand. The Apollo Chain Locker. The 1982 Mission Holders Conference. The Golden Age of Tech. Gambling Holiday in Reno. Actually, I might get rid of that one because that was related. That was not related to Hubbard. That was related to Hubbard's doctor. The Golden Age of Tech Phase 2. The Portugal CIA incident. The cholera incident. And the suitcase incident. The suitcase incident happened in the end of 1972. Jim and Hubbard had went to the ship. Hubbard came up from Morocco. And they grabbed what cash was available, foreign and U.S., which is about $100,000 total. Money was put into a briefcase, and the point was to bring the money into America silently so as to not alert the government that Hubbard was there. So at the airport, the two went in separately. Hubbard got pulled over by two plainclothed officers, and they waited about an hour before Hubbard returned shaken up. He was asked by the agents to open the briefcase, which he wasn't expecting, and had to declare $100,000 of cash coming into the country. The government now knew, and so did the IRS. The whole point of the trip was to come back to the U.S. quietly, as Hubbard had cases in the U.S. at the time. In Manhattan, they went to Howard Johnson's motel, and then the next morning, they started trying to come up with the next step, which is when they decided to go to Queens. Scientology podcast bingo. You've never heard of that? Okay. Yep, I got it. What are these? Why is there a clock there? Because it's blocking me from reading certain ones. Okay. FDSing. Birthing. I'll say DB. These are just things that I'm thinking of in a generic video. Freeloader bill. PC folders. Men's projects. Operation Random Harvest. Okay, you've got me on a rabbit hole. Operation Random Harvest. What the hell was this? Oh, this was on the thing about the geo operations. Operation Random Harvest was sought to document criminal activity on the part of the IRS. We've also got Operation Shake and Bake, which was a plan targeting Lavenda von Shake, an ex-Scientologist who left the church in '79. According to von Shake, supposedly confidential personal information that she had divulged in auditing was used in an attempt to blackmail her. She also reported her home and telephone had been bugged and that an attempt had been made to break up her marriage by telling her that her husband had affairs with other women. You know, there's a lot of operations in here that I want to get information on and dive more into. Operation Freakout. Operations Daniel and Dynamite against Paulette Cooper. I should probably start writing these down. The only one I started with was I wrote down about Big Mouth Bulldozer League. I didn't finish writing about Bunny Bust or Cat. I'm gonna have to write those down. I should probably start with that information to begin with. Just the generic Wikipedia info as a starting off point. So you know what? I'll do that right now. We'll start with Operation Cat. I don't know. I'll see if I recognize the voice when he says bingo. Give me a sec. Let me reopen the page. I do not recognize the celebrity voice. I know I probably should, but I don't. 1-1, bodies in the shop. Black PR, bad indicators, dead agenting, and theta. Wait, did they just mention Huba Stank? They mentioned the band name when they cheered. Sorry, watching The Great North and the curling episode in season 1. Leslie Nielsen from The Naked Gun. Never saw it. You know, I never watched the Naked Gun series. Wait, he went from the Naked Gun to the Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, to 33 1/3, The Final Insult. The fuck? Yeah, I got you, no. I need a fucking clean water or something. I'm going crazy. Alright. Back, motherfuckers. And then what was I gonna do? Coaster. Where are the coasters? One of the chibi in the other room. No, but I get what you mean. Not worried about it. Oh, Little Kitty Big City. I was fucking around with that too. When did that come out? May 9th. Yeah, no, I was screwing around with that like a month ago. I didn't play much of it, but I thought it was cute. I liked it. It reminded me of Stray. Stray was a great game. Carmen, my fiance, absolutely loved it. Who is Cindy Raymond? Cindy Raymond was GO's collections officer for the U.S. Right? Cats are adorable. Obviously, it needs a sushi hat. Fucking ham. Ham, Judy, Moon, Beef, Wolf, Honeybee. Just all these characters in the Great North. Very well executed, well written. Oh fuck. Could recharge this. Let me put that person in. What do you mean by who's most likely to bring out a Scientology book? Do you mean people who? What do you mean bring out a Scientology? You mean publish one, like a anti an ex member memoir type thing, like? Yeah, I don't know who's bringing out a book this year. God, I fucking tired. Okay, I gotta go to bed. I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night.